The cabin lights flickered and died. A violent shudder ran through United Airlines Flight 232 at 37,000 feet over Iowa. In an instant, a catastrophic explosion in the tail engine shredded the plane's hydraulic lines. The pilots lost all control. The DC-10 lurched and dropped. This wasn't turbulence, it was disaster. Passengers sat in stunned silence, minds struggling to process the impossible. Flight attendants moved quickly, instructing everyone to brace for a crash landing. Some people followed orders. Others stared blankly, paralyzed by disbelief. This moment of hesitation, when the brain freezes in crisis, is what we'll explore. Why do some freeze while others act? What separates survivors from victims? Of 296 people on board, 184 survived. Their reactions varied. Some braced and helped others, some moved in slow motion, and a few did nothing at all. This isn't random. It's a predictable pattern seen in disasters everywhere. Understanding this pattern is the first step to mastering your own response. It's not about heroism. It's about recognizing the psychological traps that can ensnare anyone. By learning why we freeze, we can develop the tools to break through shock and denial. The goal? Move from passive victim to active participant in your own survival. In crisis, your mind is your most important tool. In any disaster, people's reactions follow the 10-80-10 rule. 10% react quickly and effectively. They assess, act, and sometimes save others. Another 10% are incapacitated by fear, unable to move or think clearly. The remaining 80% freeze in confusion, waiting for someone to tell them what to do. This group's survival depends on how fast they can shake off paralysis and join the decisive 10%. Most of us fall into this middle group when crisis hits. Our brains need time to process sudden, violent change. The key is to recognize this freeze as normal but temporary. The challenge is to shorten it. Survival often goes to those who move themselves into the proactive 10% before it's too late. It's not about being fearless. It's about acting before the window closes. Why do most people hesitate? The main culprit is normalcy bias. Our brains expect things to stay normal, filtering out unlikely threats. In disaster, this bias becomes a mental fog, slowing our response. We look for evidence that everything's fine, wasting precious seconds. People underestimate danger, clinging to the belief that things will return to normal. This isn't foolishness, it's human nature. The first battle in any crisis is with your own mind, fighting the urge to believe everything is okay. Recognizing normalcy bias is the first step to overcoming it. The sinking of the MTS Oceanos is a chilling example of normalcy bias. As the ship listed and power failed, most passengers waited for instructions that never came. Despite obvious danger, many gathered in the lounge, expecting the crew to fix things. But a few entertainers, led by Moss Hills, saw the truth. No help was coming. They organized passengers, distributed life jackets, and coordinated rescue. Their actions saved everyone on board because they broke through denial and acted. In crisis, waiting for authority can be fatal. Action saves lives. Survival often hinges on a mental pivot, the decision to stop waiting and start acting. This pivot moves you from passive to active, from denial to problem-solving. It's the moment you accept the new reality, however frightening. Many resist this, clinging to comfort and denial. But until you pivot, you can't save yourself. The pivot isn't panic, it's clarity. This is real. What do I do now? This shift lets you see exits, recall training, and take action. You become an agent in your own rescue, not just a bystander. This mindset is the foundation of survival. Without it, even the skilled can freeze, waiting for help that may never come. The decision to act is the most important step. It's not about strength, it's about mental readiness. Survival starts in the mind. Once you pivot, your brain needs a framework for action. The OODA loop, observe, orient, decide, act, is a powerful tool. First, observe. Gather information with all your senses. Next, orient. Make sense of what you see, defeating normalcy bias. Then, decide, choose a course of action, even if it's not perfect. Finally, act, execute your decision. This cycle repeats, letting you adapt as the situation changes. The OODA loop keeps you moving, not frozen. It's used by fighter pilots, but works in any crisis. The key is to keep looping, observe, orient, decide, act, until you're safe. Indecision is paralysis. Action is survival. The OODA loop is your mental playbook. Practice it, and you'll be ready when it counts. In chaos, clarity comes from action. What if you never make the pivot? Inaction can be fatal. As time passes, options vanish. The crisis takes control. In extreme cases, people experience give up it is, psychogenic death. They withdraw, stop eating, and eventually die, even without physical cause. This has been seen in POWs and disaster survivors. It's the ultimate failure of the survival response. The mind surrenders and the body follows. Every moment spent in denial increases vulnerability. Interrupting this slide into passivity is essential for survival. You don't need to be a soldier to train your mind for crisis. Mental rehearsal, visualizing what you do in an emergency, builds readiness. Ask yourself, what would I do if something happened right now? Where are the exits? What's my backup plan? Practice responding to alarms as if they're real. Pay attention to safety briefings. Count rows to exits. These habits build neural pathways for action. Learn basic first aid and CPR. Take a CERT class or read about survival psychology. Knowledge reduces fear and confusion. Recognize denial as a bias, not reality. Preparation makes you proactive, not paranoid. After disaster, we focus on gear and strength. But the real survival tool is your mind. All the equipment in the world is useless if you freeze in disbelief. The mental pivot unlocks the potential of your tools. Your safety depends on clear thinking, not just supplies. Anyone can cultivate this skill, regardless of background or fitness. Understand psychological traps, practice mental rehearsal, and use the OODA loop. Train to be in the decisive 10%. Mental preparedness is the foundation of survival. Before you buy gear, train your brain. In crisis, it's your mind, not your muscles, that saves you.